Good afternoon. Welcome to another segment of the introduction of the living novel. We're coming to you from LTV Studios out in Wainscott. My name is Greg Sullivan. I am the author of the living novel and the creator of what I'm saying is a genre of literature. And I'm saying that this is still an introduction because there's an online presence, a kind of companion, the book itself. Then we're really the companion to that, and we'll be talking about it going into the future. It's fun stuff. We're going to be actually able to cut from us here in the studio to the online book, and I'm going to take you through a bunch of the sections. But it's a fun exercise in writing, and um, it it's about the way we are today, and something that I think is happening with literature and us as a species that I'm interested in talking to everyone about. The never ever before in the history of our species, in human evolution, have the members of our species been writing so much. You look back, there was in the early days of writing, you might have the town scribe, maybe two, three people, a monk someplace was learning and writing and writing things down. But never before has this percentage of the population been writing. And the amount of our days that we spend writing about our lives and writing to people and writing text messages and communicating, never before has our species ever done anything like this. So I think that it is having a profound effect in the changing the evolution of our species, and it's something that I want to address. But when I take a look at it, you think every single day, all of us, I mean, is there anybody out there who's not spending some portion of their day writing, typing, texting, sending messages, posting things on social media, and you look at what that is? We're all telling our stories. We're all communicating with each other. We're all sharing our information, telling people our schedules, where we're doing, what we're doing, how we're doing it, and we're writing our story every day. All of humanity is writing its story. It's the living novel, the novel that we are all in the midst of living. Everybody is writing it down, and that's new. It's never been like this in the past, but it is now. And right now, everything that everyone is writing, people are writing about what is going on today. You hear a lot of the conversations, and also I'm going to say that I think Instagram posts and all of what's happening on social media, when someone's taking photographs or going live and sharing things in writing and people are commenting on it, I think that's also can be considered part of the literature of the telling of our story and the chronicling of our days. And right now, everything that we're writing is about today. It's about what we're doing today. It's about the state of relationships today. It's about the state of politics today. It's how things are changing, what we need to know today. But as everybody keeps writing and we start to kind of catch up with ourselves and the telling of our stories, I think that we are very soon, we're going to start to see a collective consciousness that while we are all talking to each other and looking at each other and evaluating what we're doing, what we're saying, how we're going about things, what we think is right, what we think is wrong, while we're all communicating all of that with each other about today, shortly we're going to kind of all catch up and get in this kind of sync with each other and start to change the conversation that we're seeing being written today. It's going to change over, and it's going to become writing about the future and where we are going to be going. I think the conversation, the collective conversation, is going to be changing from talking about who we are today and what we're doing today to talking about, okay, now that we've got all this together, where are we going? Where do we want to go? And the conversation is going to be changing to that. Where do we want to go? And my book, right now, it's still a working title called The Bayside Experiment. And if you went online to thebaysideexperiment.com, you're going to find a landing page. I am giving credentials to people who have been writing to me and working with me, and they are inside the site and making contributions. But when we're ready, we're going to actually take the screen from my laptop, and we're going to put it on the podcast, and I'm going to share things with you and walk you through it. It's got a bunch of wonderful, fun sections of it. One is I've mentioned this in the past, one section of the living novel as I'm presenting it and my particular contribution to it. One section is 13 chapters of my own history, the telling of my story from my years at CBS television, from my years out in Hollywood, my years coming back, even make mention of when I first came to LTV back in 89, 90, someplace in there. So, but it goes into experiences in my past, so it's autobiographical. There's another section that is a blog that is my sharing things about today, even reviews of plays that I'm going to, films that I'm working on, actors that I'm working with, producers that I'm working with, fundraising for the films. We talk a lot about that in the blog, and then in the other section, you've got the past, the present. The other section is called "That Went Out with the Mayan Calendar." And that is about the future, about us looking collectively at what we'd like to see, what we'd like to see happen, what we'd like to see stopped, and how we can improve our experience and enjoy our experience moving forward. It's got a bunch of fun little sections. One of them I mentioned before is about language and us taking a look at our language and how we use it correctly and how we don't use it correctly, and places that the way we have been using our language and how it doesn't serve us. I go back to the easy example of the use of the word but. Someone is talking to you and they're sharing their experience, or they're sharing their truth or a story with you that they want you to hear. And if you disagree with something about what they've said, if the first word out of your mouth after they're finished talking is but this or but that, it creates a adversarial confrontation, and it's not that functional. It doesn't show respect to the person who's been talking to you. You haven't acknowledged what they've said. It doesn't show a consciousness that whatever they're saying is registering and you're responding to it. It just looks like you were already listening to whatever your response was going to be and making that up while the other person was trying to communicate with you. So using the word but straight out of your mouth after someone has talked to you and trying to share something with you, not good, bad. But good is to wait until someone has finished what they're speaking about, sharing it with you. You go back to them and give them a recognition of what they've said, and then add your comments to it. That's an easy little fix. It's a little smoother. It's more collaborative. It's gentler, more polite. So little things like that. How to use the word but properly and to stop using it improperly in ways that hurt. There's also conversations about some of the things that I think people will benefit from in how we listen and how we listen. If something that happens in our society, people make comments about someone else, and they can be making a criticism or a comment or a description about someone else. And up until now, we all listen to that, and someone can say something to you and we respond to it. Well, they're telling us something about someone else, and then we go in that direction. It was our opinions. But we also recognize that often, and this is so crazy, but often we could know something about someone and have our own experiences with them. And if someone else tells us something about them that's negative and go, well, here's something about them that you might not know or might not have sensed, you would tend to believe it. And you might even believe what someone else says even before what your own assessment of something or someone might be. And you look at how we can be colored in our own recognition of things by what other people say. See, especially if someone is talking about someone else, we start to recognize that when someone is maybe being critical or speaking badly about someone else, often it is really more revealing about what the person is thinking and the way they think than it is uh, appropriate for a description of the person that they're talking about. I think even in the Bible it talks about that judge not, neither condemn. But the way people are talking can talk about other people. If you change your way of listening and say, something, what they're saying is about that other person, I really it's telling me more about who is saying it than who's being spoken about. It's often more of an indictment of the way someone is thinking than it is an actual appropriate description of who they're talking about. So I'm even looking at the way we're listening to people as that needing to change as well. So we go into things like that in that went out with a Mayan calendar, and I think it is really interesting that the Mayan calendar ended right now. During this period, there was a specific day that was projected to be the last day of the Mayan calendar, and I actually have this great picture of the sunset taken on that day that's in the book online, and you can see it. It's kind of a favorite picture of mine. But the Mayan calendar ending, that period of humanity that is talked about in the Mayan calendar, ended right now during our period, right while we're going through the Industrial Revolution, the computer revolution, and now the AI evolution. And AI is transforming us as a species in ways that we can't even keep up with. But it's fast, and we're all adopting it quickly. And those who aren't adopting it fast enough, well, you will. There's no getting away from it. AI is a wonderful asset to us. It's a wonderful addition. There are things that we want to be cautious about. We know about the three C's. The three C's with AI. The concerns are it's compensation. If AI grabs some information from someplace else and uses it, do they have consent? Do they have control? Do we have control over what AI is allowed to grab onto? You're not getting AI to sign a non-disclosure. You can't get AI to sign a non-disclosure agreement. AI, sign this, non-circumvent, non-compete. But you're not doing that with AI. AI is out there grabbing all this information from everywhere it can, and it's assimilating it and it's sharing it. So the control of AI and the information it's allowed to go for, and then the consent of the people who create something needs to be taken into consideration. And if AI uses something that someone else, a human, created, they should be compensated for, the intellectual property rights. So AI just grabs all this stuff, and are we putting control mechanisms in place so that AI knows, well, if I'm going to take these words and these thoughts from some place that someone has, that came from someone, it has a value in it, and the value comes from that person, and they should be compensated. They should be recognized for where it came from. So AI right now is not really doing that. It's not really, there's no controls, there's no consent, and there's no compensation. And we just know recently AI did a Beatles song, and it sounded just like the Beatles. So, and even with some of the guitar riffs, well, if a musician did that, I forgot Thick's last name, but he did the song that that turned out to be like a Marvin Gaye thing. So it was a ripoff of Marvin Gaye, and he had to pay a lot of money for that. It used someone else's melodies, the song from Marvin Gaye, and it was a great song that he put out, but he had to go compensate the family from whence that creative spark came. So that part about AI is that's a concern. It just can grab anything from anywhere. So those are things that we're all taking a look at. But while we're using AI, it is so incredibly valuable. It is giving us information and helping us in ways can't even imagine. I'm having a problem with something I'm doing on WordPress in the site that I'm working on, and I wanted to find a security measure to be able to take a page that I've written and then share that out, kind of in not just marketing, but also to share a page from inside the book, but not allow anyone who looks at that page to be able to click in and have a backdoor into the book without signing on or paying for the book. So no one was able to help me fix that. AI, boom, asked it the question. It came back and said, do this. Actually, I asked AI, can you do this for me? And AI comes back, I gotta love it. It says, I said, well, I can't really program this for you, but this is what you need to do. Even when I was doing in a business plan I have, I was talking to AI and say, okay, look, this is the business plan. Here's the costs of doing business. And I need this Excel spreadsheet to do this and to that. And AI came back and said, well, I can't do that for you. I can't create the spreadsheet for you, but you can. And here are the formulas that for you to put in, and even talked about assumptions with me. So it's a great tool. It has its limitations for now, but it's changing quickly. It's not going to be that limited. And we have to be conscious of that and how we use it. But AI and what it's doing for us right now and how we're changing as a species because of it, it's very dramatic. And we're right in it's a very exciting time. It's a very exciting time. But it's the end of the Mayan calendar, the beginning of AI. The Industrial Revolution changed our bodies. We harnessed power. We created mechanisms to manufacture things of size and quantity that we never imagined possible before. Then we went into the computer age of being able to accumulate data and find ways to sort that data and use it. Information is power only if you know, as Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich. Actually, it was Carnegie who said, information is not power unless you use it in a way that it can be helpful to you. So the harnessing of power, the information, the accumulation of data, and learning how to work with it through computers, and now AI, and all of us being connected through social media. It's body, mind, and spirit. I believe that what we're also going through now is a major spiritual evolution, and even the way we're talking to each other, about the way we're interacting with each other as humans. And there's so much on Instagram talking about, like narcissism. I mean, if I see another post about narcissism, suddenly it's like the topic of the day. But in there, you look, and the conversations we're all having with each other is look at these behaviors, look at those behaviors, and analyzing our own, looking at the relationships and men and women, how that's changing, and the recognitions of it. There's Pearl. I love this woman. There's a woman, Pearl. She's on YouTube. She's got her own channel. She's a little controversial, but she really, I have to credit where credit's due. She really opened up the conversation about and called women out on a lot of things, saying, okay, women, and so here's a woman talking to other women saying, okay, I'm listening to all the women out there and what they're saying. And when they're talking about what they want in a man, he's got to be rich, and he's got to have this kind of car, and he's got to have this income, and he has to be good looking and have a house, and all the things that they want, that they are going to insist that their man have. And then Pearl said, oh, this is all great. But what do you bring to the table? And that phrase, she really is one of the first places I've really heard it. And then she's repeated it a lot. And now I'm hearing it going through the vernacular. And the consciousness is, what do you bring to the table? And all the demands that everybody has, what is it that you're contributing? What do you bring to the table? That phrase is great. What do you bring to the table? And suddenly everyone's having to look at themselves and say, well, okay, I don't know. And women are looking at that. So women are looking at how they have been behaving, and ways to look at themselves. Men are doing the same. We're all changing things. And also the gender, the gender fluidity, the way that is changing in our society now. I have this post, and I'll share it, but it was, I think, with the Department of Real Estate. I do have a real estate agent's license. I help friends, and I don't really use it a lot, but I've used it in some transactions and helping other people. So you're getting your license, and when you're filling out your application, there's a drop down menu for what gender you are, and you have to see this. It's on my Instagram page. So if you went to Instagram, Greg, Gregg, middle initial P for Philip, Sullivan, Sullivan. If you went to my Greg P. Sullivan Instagram page and you scroll down, there's one, and it's a black and white list of all of the different new identifications that people are adopting to identify themselves and their sexuality, where male and female. What's really funny about this list is male and female. It looks like it's alphabetical. But and male and female, not in alphabetical order. The last two options in this whole list to choose what gender you are is male and female. At the end of and it takes you 10 minutes to scroll through this thing. It's some of these things, they didn't even know what they were. Some of them had like C4 and M2 and T1. And so what kind of gender is that? But being all inclusive, and our recognition now that we want to give more more creativity or more self-identification with what people might feel they are. We want to honor that and recognize that. The LGBTQ community rising up and being noticed and demanding their due respect and recognition for who they genuinely, authentically feel that they are, regardless of what sex you are, regardless of what sexual identity or preference you have. Up until a very short time ago, it was like you're either male or female, and then you didn't talk about it. And even during the Clinton administration, him trying to do the "don't ask, don't tell," just so that gays could be in the military and not have to be. It shouldn't be an issue. But it is an issue in many ways. So identifying yourself and how you do so. Identifying yourself and everyone being able to express themselves freely, that's a beautiful thing, and I'm not against it. But when you look at things that we're not used to, it's crazy. So what's happening? Hey, oh my God! Listen, we have a very special person here. So I'm going to introduce you to Bobby Murray, and Jody's in the control room with us. He's going to help switch back and forth. But hold on, hey,
did I barge in? Should I pop
no, perfect. Sit down. Sit down. No, sit down real quick and bring that microphone over. So everyone, you're going to meet one of my new favorite people. I love this guy. He's joined me out in Montauk. He's very talented. He sings. He was at the talk the other night when they do their live concert, and Bobby Murray. So switch over, say hello to Bobby, everybody. You could love this guy.
Hey everyone, I'm Bobby. Nice to meet you.
And Bobby, so this is, your camera's up there.
Okay, there we are.
So we're working this out. So you're going to listen, it's worth the wait. This is a very attractive guy. Girls love this guy. Very cute. Well, everybody, guys, girls, doesn't matter. Or we're talking about genders. Everybody loves Bobby. Great personality, real down home, kind of natural person you can just feel real comfortable with. I listened to him sing the other night, and then we're talking. And then as we got talking, I said, look, I really need somebody else to kind of come over and take over some of the stuff that I'm doing. And what would you think about being on camera and doing interviews? And he said he loved it. But favorite thing, he's also a writer. And he writes a lot about music. So anyway, how's the camera? Can we get the camera over to
Yeah.
Oh, good, awesome. Good. So, hey, How you doing?
All right,
good
great.
to see you,
man.
Yeah,
thank you for having me. Thank you for that intro. That's flattering. I appreciate it.
I didn't even finish yet, but yeah. Just it's really you. Bobby, you stand out. You got that extra something. Look, in all my years working in television and auditioning actors and out in Hollywood and dealing with the different personalities, but we're just going to go with the actors and actresses right now. So you just spot them, and some people just have that extra something indefinable. The French je ne sais quoi, but it's just something. You walked into the room and everybody liked you immediately, but you just had it, man. And everybody, and you were singing. You just kind of walked in, took over the mic. You did great. Thanks. You sing. What were you singing? I forgot. Stevie wanted to know.
Singing. I think it was Ray Charles. What I'd say. Yeah, we got people dancing that night.
Yeah. So first, just introduce yourself a little bit. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. You came from. You moved down from Maine. You're here. What are you doing?
Totally. Well, my name is Bobby Murray. I'm from Maine. I'm from Yarmouth, Maine. Born and raised in Maine. I've got a head nod there. That's good stuff. Went to Bowdoin College. Graduated from Bowdoin College in the spring. Studied music and English there, and studied at Berklee College of Music before then. I'm a hockey player, a lifetime hockey player. Played in college, played juniors, and haven't played since. So I'm retired now. But also a musician. I love making music. I produce. Been playing piano since I was 6 years old. jazz a lot. Right now, I do country and singer-songwriter stuff with the guitar. So kind of all over the place, but just following what I like to do, you know. And luckily, I could meet Greg here, and Greg's been awesome and been introducing me to everyone and showing me the scene. So it's a really special place so far.
So every conversation, a little bit more comes out. So hockey and piano. You
Yeah.
didn't tell me about the piano stuff. I got to take this
Yeah.
one. It's hot. So you didn't tell me about the piano stuff. Cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
I'd love to play the piano. And my friend John Tesh, I worked with him at CBS News, and then he went to Entertainment Tonight. Great guy, but he's got this little thing. He's teaching people how to play piano now. But I think first, I think the creation of any music is kind of a magic. There's something this magic that's happening when people are making music. But playing piano, I'm very impressed, man. Very impressed.
Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know. I actually learned. So I learned by ear. So the way I was taught is to be able to listen to a song and play it back. So now that's kind of, a lot of people look at that and they're like, "Wow, that's my." And to me, it's just like that's what Ben Birkbeck, the guy who taught me, showed me. So it's just like reading music for me. And yeah, it's I love it. I love so many genres too. That's the great thing about pianos. There's so much to get into, you know.
So you can listen and hear and know where the keys are to play it.
Yeah,
That's man, that is really awesome, and that comes back to my own family for me. My grandfather Abraham Lavoie, his brother Solomon is Abraham and Solomon Lavoie, two French Jews, and they come to America, and Grandpa Sol ran the Apollo Theater, and his brother, my grandfather Abraham Lavoie, he would go up there, and there were the actresses and the performers. And this is like vaudeville days we're talking about. And he met my grandmother there. She was a performer, and she performed on Broadway. I think that's one of the reasons I'm kind of interested. You know, kind of got this thing going on with Broadway. But but every Thanksgiving, we would all around the piano, and we would fire off songs to my grandmother, and she okay, and she would just play it, and we were all like amazed. No sheet music, but the same thing. She said that she learned just by the sounds, and once she mastered the keyboard, she could listen to any song and play it for you. And we were just amazed. It was those Thanksgivings, you know, you never forget that as a little kid. Yeah. It was great, but you can do that.
Yeah,
very cool.
That's the fun of it, man. When people are sitting around and they're like, "Let's do this one, and they just throw it on. You're like, "All right, cool, let's do it." And I'm certainly no Joe D'Elia. You know, he's another echelon of pianists. He's the real deal. But yeah, man, I'm glad to be able to. And you know, when you're jamming around with people and you can just whip out a song, it's the best because they all know the words. And yeah.
Wow. So you know, and hockey. Well, in Maine, you know, you're up there, so you probably had a lot of ice. I played hockey when I was a little kid down at Crochron Park, and I remember when I changed from the regular skates to my hockey skates. It was like, that was a big day. You were growing up, now you had your hockey skates, and you throw them over your shoulder, and you go down there. But you know, it was okay, and I had my hockey stick, but I never. It wasn't like really any kind of real competitive thing or anything.
Was that in New York?
And hockey's fun, but
in New York, is that where that was?
Yeah,
in
Bayside, Queens.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And in Crochron Park, and John Golden, who donated, and John Golden was a big guy in big Broadway theater guy at the time, and Lillian Gish, the silent film actress, they lived right next door to each other, and they donated this huge section of land that turned into Crochron Park, and in there is a pond, and a John Golden pond, and
nice.
So theater, movies all seem to be tied into my life anyway. But so I played hockey a little bit, but so hockey and piano and all these other great stuff.
Yeah.
So and you sing, and everybody was like, "Hey, this guy's really good." You're hanging those notes in there, and I can't sing. I mean, I know they have lyrics to every song ever written, but I can't sing a note. Torture.
Well, it's nice. It was nice showing up and having like Joe's like the ultimate Stevie Wonder guy. He played with Stevie Wonder, and ultimate Ray Charles guy. He knows all blues ever, and that's the reason I started playing. I was obsessed with Ray Charles, and so I learned all his stuff first, and then I came here, and he's like, "All right, let's do Ray Charles." Like, great, sounds good. Let's do Stevie Wonder. Sounds good, you know. So,
me that you. Oh, please. Oh man, that was a phone. Oh, this is a fun phone call. I'm going to have it call me back. But I will take a phone call later. But so So and Jody, where you can't see Jody, we love Jody. He's our engineer here. He's switching the cameras back and forth. He guides me. He yells at me if I don't schedule things the right way that they need it, and I say, I apologize, But anyway, so Jody's here. So Joe, but you know Joe DeLeo, right? Yeah, because he's done a lot of stuff out of LTV. Yeah. The guy he's incredible. He's really good. And we did a little interview with him the other night, and he. Now you're playing an instrument. Do you play an instrument, Johnny?
Yeah.
So, wait a second. I saw you on LTV playing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so you guys know when you're playing an instrument, and if you're really getting into it and jamming, you get into the zone, right? Joe DeLee is always in the zone. That guy never comes out of it.
Always.
That guy's in the zone from the time he wakes up till the time he goes to bed, and even in his dreams, that guy's in the zone. But he's an interesting character, but incredible talent, and I'm glad he's around here. So and you've worked with him, and you've worked with him, so we should get him here. I tried to interview Joe the other night, and now we know he's in a lot of soundtracks, so I'm trying to get her to talk about the movies and everything. He kind of like Haim a little bit. It's kind of hard to get the guy to kind of settle down with some of the answers, but very talented guy. And I talked to him about Danny Elfman, talking about soundtracks. And I've met Danny a lot of times. Danny was started Oingo Boingo, which was a great rock and roll music phenomenon. But then he just left the band and started composing for movies. And he's probably one of the most successful soundtrack producers in the world. So Joe knew him. It's like wow, this guy is great. So so tell us what it was like when you started talking to Joe.
Yeah, I guess the first day I showed up, I just introduced myself. I walked in. He's like, "What do? You sing? You whatever?" And then he's like, Superstition, Stevie Wonder? And I'm like, yeah, sounds good. So a couple songs later, I jumped up, and obviously that band can just crank out anything. So it sounded like they'd been rehearsing for weeks on that. And then since then, we've just text every week. He's like, all right, let's do this one this week. Let's do this one this week. And I'm like, great. These are all some of my favorite songs. So, he also was like, I guess he's working a lot with the church as well around here. And he's like talking about getting me in to do some stuff with the gospel choir and this and that. And I'm like, sweet. He's talking about some things that they have coming up this spring and summer. And so, yeah, he's a great guy first and foremost. Like, he's just the nicest. That's the cool thing about him is he's so talented. And sometimes with people that are incredibly talented, they're not as nice as he is, but he is so, anyone who wants to come up and jam, anyone who wants to, he's just pumped to do it. So that's awesome.
And anybody, the fellow we're talking about, Joe DeLeo, if you're logged on to Facebook or Instagram, Montauk Live TV, every Monday we just live stream his jam at a place called Talk in Montauk, so you can see him and you can listen to him, and he really is talented. And I when I'm doing the camera watching him, I'll just zoom into his hands, and it's like Madman is crazy, but he's fun. He's a really talented guy. Yeah. So okay, so music, hockey, but you're a writer. Tell us about your writing a little bit.
Yeah, I got super in. I mean, I was always into songwriting, so that's kind of what got me into writing. And when I got to Bowdoin, they've got a great English literature program, and I got close with a professor who teaches poetry. And so he kind of brought me under his wing. And so I did a couple independent studies. My honors thesis was in poetry with him. And so that was kind of where I found I did, after working with him, I did a fellowship in Nashville in a songwriting poetry crossover. And I've always found it just like really fulfilling. So, my hope is that some way I can weave that into my work and in my songwriting. And I love writing, man. And then I also became so obsessed with a couple shows that I was like, I got to start trying something because I got some ideas. So behind the scenes, I have some scripts that I'm working on as well. And that type of stuff is all stuff that I hope someday I can pursue.
What are the scripts about? Can you talk about it?
Broad strokes, it's about a secret fraternity at Yale, which is actually a true story in the 1800s called Skull and Bones.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Sure. One of the Bush's son, maybe both of them, he was Skull and Bones. And I remember they talked about during the Bush administration.
No way.
Yeah. And they talked about secret rituals and
Yeah.
things, and the coffin. They
Really?
put skull and
Yeah.
bones. You had to spend some time in a coffin.
Yep.
It
Exactly.
seemed like
I know.
really plebeian. It's like really, but you look at the school they did. So, and that was back then. But so they've got to still have it. The
Yeah.
skull and bones. But and there was like a couple of presidents were part of it, and I'm trying to think. There was an awful lot of very famous people were part of Skull and Bones.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know the exact history, but it kind of came in and out. It was kind of taken down for a while, and then they came back into but it's really interesting, and I'm pretty passionate about it's one of my interests about the function that college has these days and how that's shifted over time and the structure of college and what fraternities started for, what they were all about at the beginning, what they've turned into now, and the stigmas around them. So it's all stuff that I weave, into my ideas for this thing. But that's, it's all behind the scenes stuff.
That would make a great movie. I could tell you now, it'd make a great movie. So whenever you're ready, I'm just looking at. We'll produce it together. Jody, you ready? You produce it. You come on board with this. So you're writing stuff like that, and you're also you're doing something. Are you allowed to talk about the jazz festival thing that you're?
Yeah, so that's actually the reason I'm out here. Is I got in touch with the people that run Hampton's Jazz, Joel Chris, John Landis, and Claes Brondel. And they are just looking to grow Hampton's Jazz Fest out here, and they needed someone to do marketing. So they brought me out, and I've been doing marketing and social media with them, and we're talking about new directions, how to grow, how to expand. So that's all really exciting stuff too. They have jam sessions every Tuesday and bring in, but it's really the best. I mean, they did all the legwork, the hard work, and bringing in world-class musicians every week. And this summer they've got some incredible talents coming. And so now it's just a matter of, making it presentable and getting people there. So
I've gone to it a couple of times, and I try to make it to the opening night. And the ones I've gone to has been over on Job's Lane in the Parish Museum. And they have the opening of the Jazz Festival there, and great musicians. And jazz, it's one of those musics that you have to have a good appreciation of musicians and what a musician does to really appreciate jazz a lot. Sometimes it's like, what is this? But then you're listening to the musicians and go, look at these guys working with each other and talk about getting in the zone. When a jazz group is really kind of clicking together, I was talking about Haim with that extra other kind of harmonic, that extra something comes out when everyone starts really getting in it together.
Oh yeah. It's the conversation. It's they're all in conversation. That's the beauty. And it's nice. Like when you go there, you see, jazz heads, and I don't get it as much as they understand it, but they know the changes, they know the versions of the songs that's going on. And so listening to it is like a conversation, and you can see them chuckle sometimes. You can see them like, oh my God, what's going on? And then to the, layman like me, it's like, well, I love jazz, but I'm no connoisseur. But they're like, looking at them and watching them experience is like, there's really something going on that's cool to watch. And part of our mission for marketing, at least, is getting young people to come to these shows and getting them interested in things like that. So part of the initiative going forward is meeting them halfway. And how do we get, how do we expose them to something that they have seen already? Do we have jazz artists do covers of popular music and Billboard hits and things like that? Like what's going to, start to break that barrier down? So yeah, it's all interesting stuff.
I'm on the Parish Museum's mailing list, so I get the mailing and I see that it's there. It's the only place I saw it marketed, and the demographic of what you're addressing right now, the demographic of the people that are on the Parish Museum's mailing list are a little bit older, and the last couple of generations been here for a while, so they need you. But otherwise I wouldn't have known about the Jazz Festival. I didn't see it anywhere. So but do a good job, man. It's a great thing. It's a good thing for the Hamptons, and part of the cultural heritage here that needs to be embraced more, known more about. So while you're doing that, I'm trying to get you to like leave all that stuff. You don't need to do it. Wait, stop. Come with me and work with me on our neighborhood and Montauk Live TV thing. So I gave you the microphone, Jody. I love that. I said, hey, just take this and interview someone. Like natural, didn't even no hesitation. He was just talking to someone. It took me months to kind of get relaxed like that. He just took to it so easily, and he did a nice job interviewing people. And you're going to be great. You're going to be totally great at it. I'm looking forward to that. So besides doing our on camera, being the new face of Montauk Live TV for us.
Mm.
But also you do editing. We're gonna be editing stuff together.
Mhm.
That's gonna be producing pieces together.
Yeah.
And really, this other thing that you're doing, it's a
Mm.
waste of your
Yeah.
time. The real place you want to be is working with us here.
There's space for
So
all of it. That's the good part. Yeah.
yeah.
No, but yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm really very excited about that too. And I'm not sure how much you've gotten into what you got planned for Montauk Live TV, for Bayside Live TV, for all of that, but it's super exciting stuff. And creating content, getting the community involved, it's the potential for it to blow up is just incredible. And, to try and hop on board at this phase is just so exciting. So
You haven't met Heim yet.
no.
Heim is part of the fabric of this place and
Okay.
been here longer than I've. He was here well before I came around,
Mm.
but he does a show every single day. This guy is
Mm.
is so prolific, but again, it's just so consistent. Very interesting guy. But I was talking to him about some of these topics, and then and the things that we're doing with the community
Mhm.
and what LTV has stood for.
Yeah.
I mean, I've loved this place, and there's a poster I'll show it to you down at the far end of the hall.
Mm.
I think it was 2004, but there's two posters about a telethon that we did to raise money for the place.
Mm.
And I directed some segments. I also put together the set. I made it kind of a surf motif, but my real fun thing was putting a telephone room together, just like on a regular telethon. And we had like 12 phones, and we had 3 levels and people answering the phones, but we
So
did like
cool.
a real telethon. It was really fun. So, but they don't need to do that now. It was fun during those days, but Heim has been there. It's been here since then,
Mhm.
but since then and just continuous. But the thing with LTV and local television,
Mm.
with my background and working at CBS,
Right.
and you guys know, but here you're working with your neighbors, you're working with people, you're on the street with, and you get the color of the people that are here.
Mm.
You get to know the people that are here. Jean Shafarov with her successful philanthropy show, but I watch LTV. Like I love this. It's
Mhm.
just it's down home. It's people that you want to know about. They're people in your community that you're going to run into and that you can volunteer with. Something that you like what they're doing. So I'd
Mm.
like to help this person. So I love the community thing. What I do with my neighborhood live TV, it's similar.
Mm.
It's similar. It's just on the web, but it's the same thing. I just started doing local documentaries about when I came back to take care of my mom. I started in Bayside, and I just started live streaming Little League parades.
Mm.
And then people said, "Oh, this is cool." And then I told you about that hacking trick.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
everybody out there who's a fun little hacking trick. When you go into YouTube and you post a video on YouTube, there's if you want to share it, you just push the share button, and it gives you a little code. You copy paste, and you put that someplace else. Go into the embed code. Click the embed code, and you're going to see a nice, big, long bunch of HTML programming. So go get the embed code instead. And then in the middle of the embed code, there's 2 quotation marks. And in the middle of that, there's a www URL. So hack off, you call it hackers, right? So you hack off from the quotation marks this way and that way. And that URL, take that and copy and paste it anywhere. And this was kind of one of my little tricks. Wherever you paste it, you send it an email, put it on a website. It only shows just the that screen with the arrow in it. It doesn't show you any. It cuts out all the other the YouTube information, so you only see the screen. So it makes it kind of cool. Streams lined up, but people don't know that. So you just get the embed code, get the thing in the middle, take that, share it, email it to someone, and when they go to open it, it just opens up the screen, does the arrow, and it's a cool thing. So anyway, so the and the stuff that we're going to be doing on YouTube too. Okay, wait. So good segue.
Mm.
So you are also a social media maven. We talked about SEO and OAA and all that, but you know all that stuff. You're starting to start a company. You want to tell us about it? Because I love what you're saying.
Yeah, it kind of turned into my obsession, like post grad, and mostly coming from trying to promote myself and my music for a while, and figuring out what worked, figuring out what doesn't work, which I'm always doing, still doing. But I got really into algorithms, how Instagram algorithms versus TikTok algorithms work. Language, even like captions. What's most effective. Obviously, hashtagging and things like that. Lengths of videos and this and that. So It all started from putting my own stuff out there. I was posting every day in the fall, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't, and now I'm thinking of different campaign strategies and things like that. So, I approached a couple different businesses with these ideas, and I started to do work on doing videos for restaurants, for small boutiques and things like that. And with the time, I was thinking of going out and trying to start some kind of small social media marketing campaigning business. But I'm glad we ran into each other, because these were just ideas, and I'm hoping that they can kind of coincide with all of the ideas that you have, which is great.
Coincide. The way this is dovetailed with the way you're talking, and I'm like, are you kidding me? This is like a glove, man.
Yeah.
You came like, thank you, thank you, nice job, setting me up with this guy. So no, it fits perfectly. And you know what my feelings about SEO.
Yeah.
We were talking about that.
That's really interesting.
SEO,
that was the first time I had heard that.
Yeah. And so, by the way, we love Jody. He's given us the countdown. I cannot believe it's been an hour. Has it been an hour? Oh my God! It took me a little while to warm up, but so 2 more minutes, quick. Oh shit! Okay, we got 9 minutes. So what I was saying, when we were talking, SEO and everybody does the SEO stuff, search engine optimization. Long time ago, great. Okay, we're going to do that. So we're going to put a hashtag. We're going to put keywords. We're going to find ways to make sure that when and if somebody's looking for you, you're going to get as high up on the list when they Google you, when the search engines look for you. It's going to get you as high up as possible. But then there was a certain place where, come on, give me a break. How many people are you going to be able to say you're going to get them on the top? So it started looking more fraudulent to me more and more. SEO. Oh, we're doing SEO now. People and I'm all in favor of everybody making as much money as you can. Money makes the world go round. We love money. It's a very fun thing. It said money doesn't buy happiness. Can I say bullshit? Bullshit. Money is great. We love money. We love what it can do. So anyway, SEO, search engine optimization, it's passive. When and if somebody is looking for you, when they decide I'm going to go search for somebody, when they go and do that, if someone has been your SEO person and helped you, yeah, it'll help you get up there, but still top of the list, second on the list, 18th on the list. You can't guarantee any of that stuff, but still, but I even think some of that's obsolete, because even the search engines go with geographic stuff that they're going to find things. But the new thing, OAA, who makes this stuff up? I don't know, but I'd love to, I'd love to be part of the committee called the names these things. Yeah. But OAA, optimum audience aggregation, where SEO again is passive. When and if somebody's looking for you, SEO is going to help them find you. OAA, optimum audience aggregation, is aggressive. It says, I'm going to find your audience for you. I'm going to go get them for you. I'm going to give them to you. I'm going to find these people that you want to reach. I'm going to get them. I'm going to give them to you. So it actually webs you out in a way that attaches you to your actual audience and the people you want to reach. So you're not waiting for them to come to you. You're actually going and getting them. So OAA is a new thing. It's aggressive, and it works, and it'll drive a lot of traffic to you. So anyway, so we were talking about that kind of stuff. Get me talking tech. I love it.
Yeah,
man.
And it's a great pitch too. That was a good story. The car dealership where they were saying SEO, and you said, well, listen to this. And I said, all right, that makes sense. Let's do it.
real quick. So I'm telling them, I'm going to a car dealership, and the guy's really arrogant, and he's putting me through it, and he's telling me where he's investing his money. And Macaroni Kid, love it. It's a place for kids to be able to become entrepreneurs on the internet. So he invests $10,000 in Macaroni Kid because they get like 500,000 hits or something. And Florida Grapefruit, how can I help you? So, hey, Diz, how you doing?
I'm good.
Wait, so Diz, I just should tell you, you're live on our webcast, so I can call you back. What are you doing right now?
I'm walking over to the garage to see how much water is soaked into the basement. Give me that.
So
bills all the time.
So okay, so Diz, I'm going to give you a call back, and this is Diane, or Diz Astor, as she calls herself, and she works with us in Bayside for our stuff there. So Diz, I'm going to give you a call back later. Okay. Okay. Say goodbye. I love you. Goodbye. So where was I? I forgot. I got 2 more minutes. What do we got left?
5 minutes.
Oh, good, because I want him on more. But what was I saying?
Yeah, car dealership.
Oh, yeah. So
Macaroni Kid.
Yeah. So he's investing $10,000 Macaroni Kid, and because they're showing these numbers, 500,000 people, 500,000 hits, all this stuff, and as a car dealership. Car dealership is in a town, and as a Jeep Dodge Chrysler dealership, there's one like 10 miles away. So what's his radius going to be, right? How many customers does he get when he's got another guy 10 miles away selling the same kind of cars? So he's talking to me, and on my YouTube channel, the videos that I do, they're on there as well, and you can see the counter on it. And one of them, he's looking through it, and this asshole, he's looking, and he finds the one with the smallest number. So, wow, you got 286 people here, and you want this. And I was only hitting them. Our price point was $2,500. And he's like, "Oh, are you kidding me? I'm getting 500,000 hits with this." And I said, "Okay, so let me get this straight." I said, "So you're giving Macaroni Kid $10,000, and because they have these numbers, where do you think this 500,000 people are coming from? Have you looked at that? I mean, do you really think someone from Ohio is going to come and buy your car here? Do you really think someone from West Virginia is driving up here because you're on there through Macaroni Kid? I don't think so." I said, but my 286 views came from the Northwest Bayside Civic Association that I live streamed their community board meeting. It's only 100 members, so it meant that every member, every family watched it twice. But I said, I'll take my 250 views from your community. These people can ride their bicycles. They can take the bus. They can get an electronic pogo stick and get here to buy a car from you. So I'll take my 250 over that 10,000 any day. I mean, the 500,000 from Macaroni Kid. So I felt very satisfied telling you.
Especially after you get the sale too.
That was very satisfying. So, well, anyway, that's the stuff we're doing now. Yeah. So, and so I'm so glad you made it. Everyone, we're really looking forward to working with Bobby. We did do a little, I started to talk to you about the 5-year plan, and actually it was a 5-year plan that could be for you, and it's yours to embrace, man. It's yours. You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome here. Make use out of it. I love that what we're creating, and if it can help people out, that's what it's for.
Well, I appreciate it. This is my 3rd week in East Hampton. 3 weeks, 3rd week ever in Long Island. So it's good jumping in.
So tell me things that have stood out for you so far.
We got the ocean right by, just like Maine. That's the best part. Montauk's a great fishing town. I mean, it looked a lot more like Maine than I was expecting. I kind of expected the East Hampton vibe, but it's definitely, it's got its fishing, and then a lot of music. That's the best part. Everyone around is doing it, and can't wait to do more.
So you're coming out with me a couple of weeks from now. We've got the Blessing of the Fleet. It's so great. You go out on the boat, and all of them, they all go out into the water, and there's the Blessing of the Fleet. And then you're going past the one boat that has the priests on it, and they're throwing the water.
Oh, nice!
But it's a great event. A great event.
I love being out on the water. That's why I love being out here. Yeah, Montauk's the best. Yeah.
You surf?
I'm horrible at it, but I can't catch a wave for my life. My buddy's like the best surfer in Maine, and so the only times I can catch one is if he gives me a push. But
surfing's always been my sport, and I was surfing ditch for since I was like 1921, and we got really worried with that last storm because it took all the sand out, and it was like, oh shoot, ditch, we're going to lose our surfing beach? But Army Corps of Engineers came back, and out there the last couple of days, from now on, you're going to be doing our surf report. Right. So you're going to see him, Bobby, doing the surf report from Ditch Plains. Yeah. But the curl was great, and it still started pretty far out. There's a guy, Dalton. I want you to meet Dalton, artist, great guy, incredible surfer. Dalton would he'd be paddling so far out you couldn't see him anymore. I was like, Dalton, how far out do you go? But Dalton goes way out. But the surf, what they put back made a really nice curl again. So everyone's back to surfing ditch.
Sounds good. You got to show me the ropes. Then I need some lessons. Yeah, be able to get up, and then I got to get a surfboard. That's probably the first step, is get a surfboard and then figure out how to get up. You're welcome to
use mine until you're ready. So look, we're time 30 seconds. What do we got here? So I'm so glad that you're here. I'm really looking forward to working with you. I think the fit's going to be great. Everyone's going to love you. You got that thing. You got that je ne sais quoi. It's just the kind of natural thing. And the marketing stuff that you're doing now, great. But pretty soon, everybody, Bobby Murray, You're going to be seeing a lot of him.
Well, thank you for having me. That was fun. Thank you, Jody, too. Thank you, Greg.